Hello, my name is Diego Pinto. I am a student at Joliet Central Township High School, class of 2028, and today I will be presenting my metal phone stand project for my Orientation to Technology Period 7 class. To begin, I will be going over the process of 3D designing and drawing the physical phone stand, and then I will go into the procedure and safety of using tools to actually make the physical copy of the phone stand. To begin, I'll go over the process of 3D modeling the phone stand, making it into a drawing where it shows all the dimensions, and then making a physical one out of sheet metal, including the cuts and the bending of the object. In the end, I will show you the finished product, and then I will give my thoughts and thank you to the people who helped me out most. So like I said, we first began with making a 3D model in a software called Inventor. I was already familiar with the software, so making this took me a small amount of time. You first begin with the shape of your object, which in our instance it was a rectangle, making it whatever dimensions you need it to be, and then you use a tool called Extrude, which gives it the depth, which would make it 3D. And then to make cutouts, you make lines wherever you need them, and then use the same tool Extrude to make the cutouts. For the rounded edges you see here, you use a tool called fillet, which rounds out any edge and makes it look nice. Something new that I learned to use was a tool called bending. Bending allows you to make these bends you can see here, in which you just have to make the lines wherever you want the bend, and then you just click on it on the bend tool, and you make it whatever angle you want. Simple as that, easy. The purpose of making this was so we could make it into a drawing. The drawings allows us to see the dimensions we would need to make a physical one. As you can see here, we can see all the dimensions, all the bends, and all the angles needed. In my opinion, it's easy to use. You just add the file in, and it gives you different projections, different angles to see your object or your model. Something new that I learned was how to add all these measurements all in once. Since you made a 3D model in the specific dimensions you needed them to be, you just had to use the dimension tool with other stuff so all the dimensions would come out at once. Another new part was up here in the top right, which shows all the bends. I never used it because I never bent any models, but here it shows the bend direction, bend angle, and the radius. Thanks to the videos that we followed, this made the process very easy. Now here came the fun part, making the actual phone stand in person. We first watched different videos on safety precautions because we used tools that could hurt us or the people around us. We first began with getting a sheet metal and then painting with this blue dye. This blue dye is used on metal, so then you can make whatever lines you need for whatever dimension or whatever cutouts you'd make. For our instance, we just made these lines to make this cutout and these lines for the bends. With the sheet that we made earlier, we were able to do the measurements very easy. We used a tape measure to find whatever measurement we needed to, and then we used this new tool called a scribe. A scribe is used to basically take out the blue dye so it leaves a mark of whatever measurement we needed. With the machine squared, we were able to make straight lines, making sure that they were up and down, not going across in any way possible. Tools we learned to use for cutting it out were the shears, deburring tool, and a filer. We first began with cutting out the middle parts with the shears, in which we just followed the line until we got to the middle point, and we just left a little bit just so we could wiggle it off. After that, we used the deburring tool to scrape off any that would have excess metal that would have cut us or hurt us in the later future. After that, we rounded out the edges with the same shears, and we used the deburring tool to make every edge smooth as possible. And then in the end, we used a filer to file everything down to make it even more smooth and ensure that we don't get cut anytime soon. Now we use the sheet metal bending tool you see right here. This is big, and at first I thought it was going to be really complicated to use, but after understanding it, it was very easy. And these things right here, they're essentially the clamps, or they call them the teeth, in which you pull up this lever right here to loosen them, and then you just insert your sheet metal under it, line it up to wherever you need it to be bending, and bring that lever down so it could hold it down. Then you bring this bottom part up, and that's how you make the bend. As you're doing it, you watch how much you're bending it to see how far until you get to your desired angle. For us, we had to get 3 of these to 90 degrees, and the last one, which is the one that made it actually stand, or bend in half, to 120 degrees. Here you see the first bend, which was at 90 degrees, and then here you see the second bend at 90 degrees also, and here you see the third bend at 90 degrees also, and here you see the 120 degrees, which we turned over. Make sure this part is facing us and bent it to 120 degrees. Personally, I had to bend it with my hand a little bit because I couldn't bend it to 100 degrees or for it to stand up properly. So I just bent it with my hand a little bit, but it all came out good. Like from this whole project a little bit. From designing this in Inventor, making the drawing so you see all the dimensions, making the measurements needed to cut out the actual sheet metal, and from bending it. This whole project, I like it. It was fun. It wasn't super difficult to understand, and there was a lot of people around me to help me, so everything went smooth and easy. Any cons I could think of were small little mistakes I made, such as right here, I couldn't made sure the lines were more straight when putting them under the clamps, so the bench wouldn't come out a little bit jagged, I guess. That'd be the only con. Advice: make sure you're lining up the teeth right when you're going to make sure you're cutting straight with this. Take your time with it. It could mess up easily. And when you're measuring, measure twice so you don't have to go back when you messed up once just because you measured once. So make sure you check everything you're doing and take your time with it. Now, I'd like to give a special thank you to Mr. West and Mr. J. This was the only photo I could find of you, Mr. West. Mr. J, I couldn't find any picture of you, so I'm sorry. But thank you for making this whole thing easy and understandable. And thank you for being cool teachers in general. There were 1 or 2 people helping me out, like classmates. Thank you to them if they're ever gonna watch this. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.